my other life, I actually do sound check. I'm just really glad there's no monitors in here, or we would have heard the minute I turned that on. So all good. And apologies to those at home who might have got that in the headphones. So hacking 101, back to where we started. The whole point was there's a lot of people in the security industry that never worked with tools. And now there's some of my peeps here who grew up with that, and they still log on and do stuff by hand once in a while. But there's lots of us who don't. And even when we're doing a cloud thing, we're just clicking, a couple of buttons in a web page, and we're not really attached to the computer and the networking and the software and all of that stuff's going in. So as things get the stuff is still defeatable. You just have to go in and get your hands to it, right? So there is an interactive thing. Everybody, I see people with laptops and people without, but is there anybody here that doesn't actually have a phone? Right, so no hands go up anywhere. At home, you can play along. It's absolutely the same thing. So instead of slides, we're going to do this fully interactive, but I love working without a script or an app. So CTF players, what's the name of the domain? What's the name of the company that we're hacking right now? Sorry? Yeah, your mileage may vary industrial. We may not, we're not the integrator of choice, we're the integrator of last resort because your budget sucks, whatever, right? It's a small little mom and pop company that grew up and they started this little business and they're making a go of it. Who's the CEO of this? I don't know. So how would we first start this? So if you're doing a red team, like a hacking, or somebody hired you to be a hacker, I have done this on multiple occasions. You're given go find it. So what's the website for why the industrial? That would be kind of like your first question, right? Why is that? Because every business is actually business now has a website, right? So what's the website? Probably already in there, but what is it? It's not the B-Sides Calgary. What is it? Maybe I can't decide. I suck at typing. They pay me for like or I type. Wow, I'm typing. There we are. Okay. So the one guy I know is a ham in this can't answer this question. It's Mark Collier. Yeah, exactly. So these guys do stuff over radio. Kind of cool, right? I got my license. I decided I should do this because the alternative is to get busy and stuff, get on the air. The only time I've ever broadcasted in my whole life is here at B-Sides when we had some people around. So, but we did it all. That was last year's stuff, and that stuff will be back there next. But when you're going to a company website, where are you going to look for information? So remember yesterday we talked about identity as the new perimeter. This is that whole conversation. And our job now is to figure out who we're going to target. So in CTF, there's a series of questions called Spies Like Us. Has anybody got to those? Yeah. And it was things like, who is this person and what are they going, or what do they do at your company? So in the real world, where are you normally going to start looking for this stuff? LinkedIn, right. Okay, we did get monitors. Did you, yeah, okay, bring them down just a bit if you, is that good for everybody? Yeah, okay. All right, so LinkedIn, we go searching around and we try and find stuff. For some reason, Jake Fox is currently banned from LinkedIn and they want real ID and stuff. So, you know, we moved some of the target intel that you would normally do on LinkedIn up here, okay? Sometimes you're not gonna find this much chattiness about the people on the website, but we're trying to simulate what you would do. But seriously, if you look it up on LinkedIn or look it up on their corporate website, what's the difference? You're going to a web page and you're finding out what is going on in that organization. So where would I look for information about what's new in this company? Which? Corporate updates. All right. Bright bunch we got here. This is good. No, for sure, right? And this is one that a lot of people miss with hacking. Companies really like to talk about what they're doing that's new and awesome. Why is that? To try and stand out from the competition. And they will often hide these things in press releases. So you'd be amazed at the number of places where you go. And sometimes the press release isn't ready for release yet. But if you put /release at the end of that URL, you might just find something. You're not going to this time. But that whole thought process of where would they hide something? Because they're going to send an email to their 10 people they know at Post Media and the radio stations and all the rest. It's like, hey, here's a link. Go get our latest press release on X. And so they can talk about it on the news and whatever, right? Well, if you could get that a couple days early, might that be an advantage to you? Yeah. If you're trading stock, that's actually against the law. Great stuff to know in advance, though. Just saying. But so go look around. So on the corporate website, what are we seeing? Is there anything that would be compelling here that seems interesting? Okay, so the CEO is doing what? She's saying, hey, we really value testing. We do. It's right downstairs. You can go test it. Can you break in? Can you crash it? And we take it seriously, and we're engaging cyber professionals to validate our security. How about that? It's almost like they knew what we were up to. It's crazy. And who are they doing the job for right now? Who are they working for? Lego City, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, even if you hadn't seen the model, you could say, okay, it's Lego City, right? Okay, great. Now, who's talking about the Lego City? Like, what are they doing? So Raven, that's the CEO, but who's the person that is talking about Lego City? Andy. Who's Andy? And we're after a technical target, right? Who's the right guy to try and fish right now, Andy or Raven? Andy, yeah, like that's the thought process, right? What's the target I'm after? If I'm after the money, if I want to know the stock release, I talk to Raven. If I want to know how to break into the train, or I want Andy's creds, because I bet you he's got good creds if he's the director of something. Because if he has to fire somebody off the job, he has to go lock them out. So even if he doesn't normally log in, he has an account that might get him there. So he's a good target, right? So now how do I know where Andy's, what's Andy's email? Yeah, we do. But Andy's not there, is he? Ah, she was here yesterday. You could make it up. I bet you it starts with Andy dot something, right? Right, for sure. So what's his email address? Right, but what is that? Andy Lyons at YMNV, yeah, right, exactly. Like that's the process, okay? So you're already hacking this company. Because you can send him an email right now and he's going to get it. In fact, there's a bunch of things about send an email, and I answered a lot of email in the last 24 hours, people looking for games and all the kinds of stuff. So that email is very much alive. But there's other stuff we can do here. So Andy also likes to talk about stuff, right? So we're going to go check out a couple blog posts. So if we go to hidden cost first to market, It's something about don't rush to market and make crappy stuff. And it turns out that's not actually written by our guy. It's written by our communications director, Rishi, right? But she's kind enough to leave her email in there. So if Andy's written anything, I bet you if we went and looked in the profile, we'd confirm that. Let's see, what might Andy have written? Oh, I love this one, the beer kiosk. That was Andy, wasn't it? Yeah, that was last year's. It's out of Okotoks, Doug. Because Jake Fox used to play for the Dogs. It's like, yeah, weird. I don't know where my mind goes. But yeah, so here we are. There's Andy, right? And if you look at his profile, I think it is one of these. It says, oh, there we are. Wait, is it somewhere in here? It's got his email, right? Okay, yes, perfect. So we got his email. We've confirmed that's the one. So that's good. And I hope nobody actually tried putting the @ signs in with the email and thinking that was going to get you the flag. It does have to be a real formatted email. But again, sometimes people obscure that, so a bot crawling it will miss that email and he doesn't get as much spam, things like that. So these are all normal things that go on a website. There's nothing here that looks out of the ordinary. But now if we look at all his posts, is there anything here we can use? So here's one about winter drains everyone, even robots, right? It comes down. One of the flags is you're supposed to find out a phone number to reach Andy because they've got email gateways now that prevent a lot of the phishing stuff. But nobody has gateway protection on their phones. How many people get junk email or junk invites on their phones? All of us. It's like incessant. And one of the reasons is it's up until very recently very easy to set up an SMS gateway. The good news is here in Canada and the US, they've now got some real laws and the better providers are blocking that. I know that because we had to set one up for this thing, okay? So it was rather convoluted and you actually have to have a real business license and all the rest. Now, while I was looking around for this, I found places in Nigeria that were happy to send that. I didn't really want to give them my credit card, but you know. So there's lots of places where SMS could come in that are not going to be as rigorous as, you know, North American providers that, you know, are traded on the stock exchange and stuff like that. But, you know, telcos are pretty liberal. They're very interested in money, so you can convince them to hook you up to the PSTN. You can probably make your own bad actor gateway. So SMS, great vehicle right now. That's why we're seeing more and more of the SMS stuff. The only problem is you need to know their phone number, right? Texting somebody other than Andy isn't really going to work, is it? So where's Andy's phone number?
Zoom info. Zoom info.
Exactly. A lot of open source or low-cost search engine type things will tell you way more about people commercially than is always convenient. And why would he have his stuff on Zoom Info? He's the director of projects. He actually wants people to call him because he can sell them things. So for sure, a lot of people in an organization are going to make themselves very public and available because they need those contacts to try and generate business. We can exploit that weakness as an attacker to get into their personal space to try and take advantage of that. Now, Andy isn't a real person and he's not actually on Zoom Info, but I am going to try and see what I can do for next year to get, you know, increase the sock puppet quality. And I discussed this with a guy from the government earlier. There's no official version of this, but this is all for educational purposes. No fraud will be implied or intended, but you know, if they really ask us to take it down, we would. But here it's totally legal. Now the issue here is that we don't have his phone number. Or do we? Where's his phone number? Yeah, exactly. If you kept reading, he actually makes a commitment to say, I take robot train safety seriously, and you can send a message. Anybody from the general public can send a message to our support message. So somebody got a phone? Try it. Text that number. Say hi. What comes back? Did you try it? Yeah. Last night. Still working now? I just changed something. Go check. People getting answers? How about at home? Anybody on the chat? Are they testing? So folks on the internet, I told them in advance, if you have a question, just let us know. Okay? Did it come back? We got answers? Okay, so it's working. So the change I made didn't break anything. Yay. Welcome to IT, right? Isn't that great? I hope this works. I got 3 minutes. Okay, so yeah, don't make a change before you go to a talk and then test it out live. That's another pro tip. But this time it worked out good, so we won't tempt the demo gods too much further. It's like, don't all try it. But yeah, you go, seriously, this is Twilio in the back end. So you can hammer the heck out of it from what I can see. I didn't script it, but it's pretty tough. So you got an answer back and it says, hey, where's your support number? But if we read this closely, it actually says, send it to the support number, but what else does he say? Exactly, he'll monitor for himself. Yes, support contract is spelled wrong. And that was actually going to be a reading test flag, but you kind of ruined it for everyone. Thanks. No, that's okay. No. I'm a terrible typist, as we can see. Yeah, there was one came up yesterday and the reply name was wrong. And they got upset about that. We got it sorted out. Anyway, and yes, if you do have an issue with a flag, this is a friendly competition. We're happy to help and coach. Like, that's not a thing. But it says, I need to know it's for me before this. So let's think about the phishing emails we used to get. How am I going to translate that into a smishing email? There's a vishing thing too, I think now, where you can send somebody a video of you telling them to do something stupid. I don't know, like whatever the next vehicle is, it'll just have an ishing on the end of it and it'll mean scam. But so smishing is scamming over SMS. It's super fast, but also, is there anybody here that doesn't have a phone? No. And when it goes off, even if you're in a meeting, you're sneaking to see who is it, right? Like, we're watching this thing all the time. From an attacker point of view, I got your eyeballs all the time. Is that not awesome, or is that not awesome? No? Okay. I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. If I'm attacking somebody and trying to get into their space, if I can get their phone number and I can start a text dialogue with them, they don't know who I am. I can pretend to be anybody. And last night has anybody done somebody's probably done the flags where you're reversing and you're looking for the license? So you got to go on here, you got to find the license address, and then you got to reach out and say, hey, I need a license. And people just sending X and test and all this, and other people, big long story, nice signature and everything else. Obviously, we're responding to the ones that are nice signatures and stuff first. So it's all about pretext. Well, we can't install signatures here, but we can use things that make it look like a real message. Because how many of these we get? There's like, your package may wait at blah, blah, blah. Click here for a refund. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But if it's actually written in conversational language, am I likely to engage? Yeah. More, right. Okay, so we're doing this live and you'll get points and you can put them in CTF. So this is worth your time. Okay, how am I going to engage Andy? What's the first thing I should probably do? See, exactly.
You know his name. Pretend you know him. Hey, Andy. Hi, Andy. Hello, Andrew. Like something. Start with the person's name and a cordial greeting versus your package. More likely to engage. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is you have to get them to care. What does Andy apparently care about right now? Safety. Yeah. If we go back up, is there anything specific that he's mentioning? Frostbite. That's kind of a weird term, isn't it? Well, not here in Alberta, but that's actually the problem with the robot trains. But the batteries are cold, they're not going as fast. Frostbite. Interesting. He's apparently concerned about it. Hi, Andy. I have something about frostbite. I don't know. Is he more likely to engage or not? Probably. So send him a text, say hi, and mention frostbite. Try it. Let's see what happens. Is anybody trying this online? Okay, is there anybody actually watching, or we're just recording? No, on the chat. Do we see anybody? Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. I'm not offended. They knew it was me. I don't blame them for not coming. I saw Rob smile. I didn't know the other guy. Or they must have canceled your talk. Is that what it was? Okay. What? Oh, darn. They're not biting yet. Okay. All right. But yes, so it's working as planned. It's like, Doug, you're such a cruel man. No, not really. This is a learning experience. So we're phishing them. We're trying to convince them that there's something important. But what are we missing from the adversary's perspective? Actually, the question is almost spelled out for you on the CTF. If anybody's logged in, go check the Smish Me question. Because there's one more thing we're missing with this attacker. What am I after? Is what? You're after his credentials, right? So you'd mentioned clicking, but when he clicks, what's he going to do? We got to convince him to log into something, because if he's running in a modern operating system, his browser isn't going to fall over the minute he visits your website and you push something evil to it. It's going to be patched for that kind of thing. We have to convince him to add his credentials. Now, in modern ways, there's things like DocuSign and different kinds of contract software where they send you a link and you're supposed to log in and click a button and that says, yes, I'll pay you, follow through on the contract. So what are we missing in our phishing thing right now? Yeah, we got no link to this guy. So let's retry the phishing thing with our politeness and maybe something he might find interesting, like safety or frostbite or robots or something. And add a link and pretend you're a hacker and you've got a website that you control. You can make up anything, but it's actually got to be a real website. Not like real, but look like a real website. What would a normal website have to contain if I gave you a URL? No? It's got to start with the protocol, right? Yeah. We're secure. Of course we're going to use HTTPS. It's a hacker site after all. Okay, try it. What do we get? And then just pretend you own give it the domain you ever wanted. And those typing with their thumbs are going, this is a drag. I need a script to do this. Totally. You would definitely want that. But this should work. And we've given you 3/4 of the path through already. But if you were just enumerating and trying to smish half the organization, you'd probably want to script that. Did it work? Did we get something? Really? Oh, so we have our first successful fisherman right here, because he tricked him by giving him a location to go get that and the convincing pretext of this is about frostbite, and you used his name. And we're assuming for the sake of simplicity that some of the other words in there made sense. Right. Welcome to machine learning. You got to narrow it down. But those three things combined convinced this person to engage. For those who've done incident response, is that reasonable? Have we seen people fall for that? Okay. Anybody recently seen that? Not looking your way. No, like for sure, it happens. So it's not far-fetched. So yes, we didn't stand it up, but it did give you a website to go to, right? What happens when you go to that website? So it should be in your link, like it should give you a link, right? You got a 404, yeah. Yeah, the page you're looking for isn't found. That sucks. This game sucks. Who wrote this? Okay, I know that guy. Yeah. It tells you a few things. It tells you that really is the website. Because if there was no website there, what would you get? Yeah, either domain error, like I don't even know where that is, or it just times out. And so this is part of what I'm getting at with, we're getting so detached by doing things and just assuming it's always working. You want to mess somebody up? Let them plug into your network and don't leave DHCP on. 90% of the people will not know how to set a static IP on their machine. That's a real thing, okay? Because we're just used to it. So the good side is that you can sometimes think you're being secure by doing stuff like this. So if I was an investigator right now, do you do investigations like IRs? You put your hand up, said you just had a phishing one. No, besides Charlotte. Yeah.
It's more like
Okay. All right. So anybody ever done an investigation into a phishing thing? Yeah, okay. And you get a, sometimes in those investigations, you get a link to a website, right? What do you normally do? I go to that web and see what's there. Yeah, I go for it. I go see. So what have I done? I've actually told the attacker, hey, your attack worked because somebody's now looking. But you don't actually know what's on there, do you? Did you get the link? Yeah. You go there and you get the 404, right? There's nothing, right? Those attacker guys, they're just like bad. So he left a message in there. Is it unlike an attacker to leave bad information in something they think an incident responder is going to read? Okay, who's controlling that website right now? How do you know it's really a 404? How do you know it's not a page with me measuring who connected and what time and keeping a log of all that crap? Yeah, like lots of games. The minute the attacker controls that website and you're going into their turf, there's the thing. All right. But the good news is, did anybody do their threat intel? Who's our threat actor that we're chasing? Right. And what did you do to beat that?
I just went to d42 point or .ca.
Right. But what did you use to do that? No, besides your brain. I mean, like that was obvious. That was a really good call, by the way. You went to it. You went to d42.ca, right? Okay. All right. Oh, it'll help if you hang on here. Move this to a new window. I went to d42.ca and I didn't get that. Can you check that again? Can somebody else check D42?
I checked the same. I got username and password.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Address being SMS text.
Yeah, but
That's a little on the nose, really.
no. Think lower down, lower level. What's the difference between me going to d42.ca and you going to d42.ca? Nope. Yeah, top of the class, exactly. Different machines. What do incident responders use when they're investigating? What do my victims use when they're surfing the internet? The phone. Which one do I want to present to the incident responder and which one do I want to present to my victims? And I wrote this at 2 o'clock in the morning in VI because I forgot. The guys that laugh at VI, it's like, you still use it? Yeah, I use that. I write the odd website in VI. And you can tell by the quality, style sheets. And yeah, exactly. You can view source on that. It's pretty Spartan, right? But it proves the point. And that's the thing. When you're going there, the attacker has the advantage now. So part of the hacking 101 concept is understanding what's going on. But when I keep saying identity is the new perimeter, that 404 that you're going through, I could be logging that. So if I've sent this out to 27 different companies, they're giving me the addresses that their users are potentially leaving from, or the phone provider that they're using. Because if the company standard is Bell iPhones, Bell's going to have a certain set of ranges. I can look at the IPs that are coming in, and what's my next possible pretext against this company? Left a message. No.
Scan the rest of the region.
No. I want to get inside their company. Keyword being company. And I know it's Bell. Who's Bell phone? The one the company's paying for or the one they're paying for? No, the company one. And who doesn't want a phone upgrade? What if I put together a website that looks like the company IT portal to say, hey, log in and make an appointment with us for your phone upgrade. Please use your Active Directory credentials. How many are going to do that?
Too many.
Too many, exactly. But it keeps us blue teamers in work, I guess. I don't know. There's something there. But see, now I can create the pretext, right? But if I saw this stuff coming through from this organization, and most of them are using Androids, sending them a lure to say, get your iPhone upgrade's going to kind of fall on deaf ears. So they're profiling us and they're doing the intelligence against us before we do that. And so you actually got a couple answers. You can try that account. It's not going to work. It will when I get back and add it. But the cred you got is actually a valid key. So you just got some points for your CTF. I think that's really the takeaway here is that we've got so many ways that people are coming at us now, and our users are being, I don't even want to say tricked, they're being targeted. Like if somebody that's really out to mess with your organization makes it their day job to figure out how to work against you, they're going to get some of your people. There's no way around it. But understanding how some of these technologies work and the challenge with this, I mean, when was the last time anybody talked about mobile security other than putting a container on it to make sure it's not jailbroken? Like, I think all of us got that, and you got to have the 6-digit PIN thing, right? But we have no controls over the messages going in, who's in their contacts, any other apps that are running. So, you know, it's not an exaggeration in this part of the world to say that there are military agencies that are out to get into our businesses. Why is that? Why are people interested in Alberta of all places? Yeah. 45% of all the natural gas in North America flows between 2 pipeline companies. Like we're number 5 or 6 globally for barrels per day out. Some of the people that don't like us right now are also in that business. So if we're out of business, that's good for them. Like you can kind of see how the governments might be willing to do these kinds of things. So we've put together a fairly basic but trickier example. Like if you hadn't had some coaching, how many of you would have got how to fish Andy? Get there, but it would have taken a while. Okay. That's the difference, right? Is that the whole hacking concept originally came from people just trying to take what was already there and use it in new and inventive ways. I've attached a mobile phone to a web page. Not exactly rocket science. The hardest part was actually getting legal. But it's there. And the adversaries, they will have teams of people doing these kinds of things. And the web pages will look great. They'll look just like your website because they have people that's their only job is they're a web developer for a crime syndicate. They're really good because the crime syndicate's making a lot of money so they can pay these people. This is not hoodies and basements, okay? So I think that's kind of where I want to leave this as far as this is kind of the state of the nation. And we always got to be on the watch for emerging threats and stuff like that. But I'm curious if there's questions about or comments on what you might be doing already to kind of nip this in the bud with your people. Right. And whoever thought that holding your phone up to a computer screen would be a way into an organization, but we've trained a whole legion of people to do that.
Yep.
And that's scary as hell. It's like, you don't even know what's in there. So, and the email systems are not capable of pulling those down and reading them at the speed that the mail comes in. You know, you used to be a mail guy. What's a big company bring in every day for message volume? Right. So 25 times, let's say you got 10,000 employees, that's 250,000 messages a day coming in. There's probably a bad one or two in there. Just going out on a limb here, right? So, but now, how many messages are going to your users' phones? We have no way of knowing. We can't log, we don't see that. The only people that know are the phone company. And they don't care because they're getting 1/18 of a cent every time it goes out and they don't care. So that's a blind spot for us right now. I have no idea what my users are seeing in their SMS. And it could be this kind of thing, right? So, go ahead. I don't really know what the stats are. I know that definitely will perk their interest. Because you catch the right person on the right day. You know, you just had a fight with your significant other and an old girlfriend calls. I'm gonna look, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a numbers game. That's the other thing that we need to think through is that even at the tester prosumer rates, once I got everything set up, I think it is costing, like I'm not kidding, like an 1/18 of a cent or something to receive a text email. If everybody that was playing CTF sent 100 messages, I think I might be out $15. Like it's not a big price jump. And that's entry level. There's prices. Well, are you sending 10,000 messages a day? Here's the, it's like, who sends 10,000 messages a day? Marketing companies. And so all of these things are built out for these marketing companies, and the spam company or spam people come in. And because everything's a service now, you can probably just say, here's the message and here's the people I want you to send, and out it'll go, right? The threat intel in the CTF, we've actually mapped out some of the concepts of ransomware as a service. So you get this ne'er-do-well social engineering group. Nobody did give their name, but they're in the threat intel. It says this is the threat intel group. And suddenly they're doing cyber espionage. Like, what happened? They hired some people. So it's totally possible. They can use their social engineering contacts, this company's technology, and they split the money. Criminals getting together to solve a problem. I think that's kind of a recurring theme, right? You do this part, I do this part. Think of it like Ocean's 11, right? Kind of an okay-ish movie, but I need a grease man. What's that? Oh, somebody's really small and skinny and used to crawling through ductwork. That's a job? It is if you're breaking into a casino. Okay. Like, no, go ahead.
So, when we
Imagine that. Right? Absolutely. They're asking for it, they're selling it back. But the way you can confirm that is you go to their company's website and you look for their privacy policy. Oh no, I get that part. But the good news about the breach is that they will then give you free credit monitoring for 2 years. So if you line it up right, you should pretty much get through the rest of your life without ever having to pay for Equifax to tell you it's all good. All right. Now, this was, again, I had a completely different thing planned, but this wasn't the right vehicle for it. We were going to build fake rubber duckies today, but we'll have to make that into a workshop for next time you bring your PC, and you'll actually build rubber duckies for $10 instead of 50 and build your own code and all the rest. That was going to be this. That's not this, obviously. I have one real talk today, and that's at 3. Okay, and it's on log de-identification. Really weird, narrow niche subject, but anybody that's doing blue team work, anybody that's doing tool development, anybody that's doing AI, this might be something you could use. I get paid no more or less who's in the room, but I'll be there. And I actually have real slides, and I've really done the work on that one. But I hope you guys are having a great time, and I'm glad to see everyone today. Thank you.